I was talking earlier about Donald Trump and where he thinks he is so far ahead. And part of the reason why he's so far ahead is because he thinks that this country is so behind him. He had a pretty astronomical percentage of people he thinks that are Trump voters.
The country, and in terms of unifying the country, bringing it back, to have taken her and to have put her in jail. And I think you know the things as well as I do. There were some pretty bad acts that she
The her is, by the way, Hillary Clinton.
did. I think it would have been very bad for our country. And a lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base. And I think the base is 75% of the country, far beyond the Republican Party.
75% of the country, he believes, is voting for him, yet he lost Joe Biden by 7 million votes. So, I mean, again, make sense of it for me. I don't know how he picked up more voters over the years. I don't know, how that happened, but he truly believes that 75% of this country is on his side. And I hope he continues to think that, because if he continues to think that, his strategy is going to stay the same. He's not going to change anything of his strategy, although I truly believe if he did change the strategy right now, it's too far gone at this point. You can't change over 9 years of batshit crazy nuttiness and in 3 months completely change your entire personality. You just can't do it. People know who this guy is now. You feel it. You truly feel in this country now that people are exhausted. They are done with this ridiculousness. Yeah, there's loudmouth idiots who are still going to go to battle for Donald Trump, and they're just going to say everything to defend him. They're going to say everything to try to put down Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And by the way, I don't know what it is with these MAGA people, because I thought they were supposed to be the big, we love the military people, but they hate Pete Buttigieg, who is a military guy. Now they don't like Tim Walz. They didn't know who the guy was 3 months ago, but now they hate him. John Kerry is another military guy they hate. So I guess maybe it's just the Democratic people who are in the military that they don't like. I don't know, but you would think that they would give a little bit more respect to the military men and women, regardless of what their party was, and go there. By the way, I bring up Tim Walz and him being a military guy. This guy literally is a Disney movie. He really is. He was a military guy for 24 years. He served his country for 24 years. He left the military to become a high school teacher. He was a social studies high school teacher, and he was the football coach. He literally, and again, this is just amazing. He's the football coach in the 90s. And there are gay kids in the high school there. And he was one of the leaders who put together a group to defend the gay kids and got his football players involved and let everybody know and to show, first of all, this is what real men do. Real men will defend the marginalized community. Real men will step up and be secure in their own masculinity, and at the same time say, this is bullshit. Don't pick on somebody just because they're not like you. So that's another thing that he did. His students loved him so much and thought he was so great. They were the ones who talked him into running for Congress. He ran for office. He wins. He subsequently wins the governorship of Minnesota. 3 months ago, nobody, unless you really, really, really knew politics, nobody really knew who this guy was. Nobody. Then all of a sudden he gets on TV. He is saying things that are starting to get attention. He says one word that all of a sudden now everybody's paying attention. He called them weird. It was a perfect targeted word that I'm not even sure he knew how much this was going. In fact, I know there's no way he knew how much that was going to take off and how much of a bullseye that was by just calling these people weird. And it works because now you diminish what is scary about them, because every time they talk and everything they say seems scary, and I'm coming after you, and I'm this, and we're doing Project 2025, and don't get me wrong, they are still scary people if they win, but calling them weird makes it harder for them to win. Why? Because people are now looking at it and going, God damn, they fucking are weird. They are just weird people. And that took off. And then people started to notice him more and more and more. And then first of all, he wasn't even in the initial VP sweepstakes, as they call it. And all of a sudden his name started showing up in there. People are like, he doesn't have a chance. Weeks go on. Long story short, well, I guess too late for the long story, but he is now the vice presidential candidate of the United States of America. He's a fucking Disney movie, and people love him. It's nearly impossible not to love. There's nothing about this guy that you look at and say, I don't like him. By the way, he's also a gun owner. He's a hunter. He does all the things that you would think is a MAGA guy or a Republican even. But, it's truly an amazing story.